Hello, welcome to the Breaking Free podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Francis. Today, I'm very grateful, very humbly joined by Temika Hill. Temika Hill's a psychic medium and grief guidance. I was guided to her work purely through spirit the last couple of weeks. As I was telling her off air, saw her Facebook pop up 4 times, and then I was like, I need to check out the Instagram. Checked out the Instagram. We made it happen today. Temika, welcome to the show. I love the work you're doing because not many people in the spiritual space, you could say, focus on what you focus on. I'm looking forward to having our conversation today. Also, the live reading that you're about to do on me as well. Yes, all my listeners and viewers, Tamika's going to do a live reading on me. This is going to be interesting and wild. But Tamika, welcome to my show. Thank you for
Hello,
coming
hello.
on.
Thank you for having me. Excited for the reading.
We've been talking off air for the last little bit. This is going to be interesting. So, Tamika, take it away. Let's see what comes through for me today. And then we'll talk about
Okay,
your
cool.
story and everything else to do with the chat after that.
Beautiful. I'm going to just say to the listeners, because if they see the recording, I do shut my eyes when I do readings, when I channel.
Yep.
So, guys, I'm not asleep. I'm just channeling deeper. So, know that if my eyes are shut, she's still here. Could be up in the cosmos channeling a little bit. However, that can happen. Just want to pray from that.
This is going to be cool.
She's not snoozing on the podcast, guys.
Nah. So Tamika's young. She's in the space as well, and I always love getting young people on. So let's do it.
So exciting. These cards are usually the cards that I use, and they're really beautiful. And there's lots of energy at the moment, which is fun.
Yeah, the energy started this morning actually. While you're shuffling them, I'll tell my listeners and viewers a story. About an hour and a half ago, I had the ears and my ears were ringing, and I thought, oh, I might let Tamika know that one. So I messaged her about an hour and a half ago. So all exciting. I'm like, yeah, real high pitched frequency. So obviously the energy's been bubbling for a bit. So
Yeah.
this is going to be good today, everyone.
I love that you get a reading live and it's you just get to be sitting there and receiving
Yeah.
while everyone else listens, which is super cool.
Yeah, no. Well, my listeners and viewers know pretty much everything there is to know about me. So let's do it.
Another thing as well is like the cards, they're just piece of the puzzle. Like, so I always say to people that get readings, like, know that they are part of the message. However, I generally will do the cards and then channel more things. So they're kind
Yep.
of just like the opening of the portal is the way I look at them.
Ooh,
They
this is
just
cool.
open the portal, and then when the portal's open, I just start to channel more.
Yep.
So they're just like, they're not the be all and end all, is what I really love to pre-frame to people when they get readings. Like, know that the cards aren't the everything.
Yeah.
There's always there's always more.
Yep. I agree with
I
that.
feel like you've got four rather than three.
4. Here we go. Nah, it's always fun to have a live reading. It's something that, yeah, I was uncomfortable in doing at the start. I'm just embracing it now when I get mediums on, and it's just like, let's open myself up. Let's go.
Yeah. Both your grandpas are here,
I knew that.
one on each side.
Oh,
One
they're on each side. That's a new.
one feels very like masculine
Yep.
energy, and the other one feels a little like softer.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. One feels very like masculine.
That's
One feels
interesting.
a little bit softer. Like not a whole heap. There's just a little bit more, maybe nurture is the word I'm looking for from one
Yeah.
of them.
Mm.
Anyway, they're kind of just sitting and chilling right now.
Yeah, I know.
One of them's kind of laughing as
Mm.
well.
Yeah,
Okay.
they always laugh at the things that happen to me in
Yeah,
this
I'm
world.
getting a
Yeah.
little bit of a giggle in my corner, and I'm like, leave him alone.
I know which one it is too. I know which one's the
Uh,
mascot one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You
Here we
ready?
go.
Sorry. First card is temptation.
That's a beautiful card. So for those watching on YouTube, that is a beautiful card. Yeah, temptation, eh?
It is a beautiful card.
Mm.
They're all really beautiful.
Mm.
Okay.
Temptation. What am I
Tempt.
tempted by?
Haha.
Here we go.
Interesting. So the energy is coming from your heart chakra in terms of the temptation. And ooh,
Mm.
it feels like there's old patterns and old beliefs that may come through your heart that are tempting you to do the wrong thing when it comes to doing things from your heart. So
Okay.
it could be like what we're talking about before with the dating thing. There might be temptation, like it feels like there's temptation to kind of go down like old patterns or old pathways that you would have used to go down when you dated. So it's like there's two energies. I'm feeling two, like the best way to picture it is like two paths. So you're walking down the path, and this one feels like it's a little bit cheeky and devilish, like a little bit like I'm a little going to be a little bit naughty, like a little
Oh,
cheeky,
fuck.
cheeky little boy, like
Yeah.
wants to play. It's like this almost like it almost feels like a cheeky little bit of unhealed, like teenager, like boy that's still sitting in your heart space. And it's like you're walking down the path and you're like, oh, that feels very tempting. And then it's like the conscious side of you goes, I don't know. And it feels like this bit of like push pull. And it's like you kind of want to dabble into the cheekiness and the temptation of being a little bit naughty. And then your conscious little angel over here, it's like the devil and the angel,
Yeah.
goes, let's not do that. So your guides want you to remember that your path has changed and to equally, like when you feel that little bit of devilness, how can you integrate that in a like masculine, like dark masculine matter? Rather than being like unintegrated and being a little bit naughty, how can you come out as like you see it and you're like, okay, that's like the unintegrated dark masculine. How can I bring it and be integrated dark masculine? Because if you want to be a little bit dark, can you do it in an integrated sense to break the temptation of being the wrong way? Well, the cheeky way,
Mm,
if that makes sense.
mm.
It's like your dark masculine wants to be initiated.
That would explain the initiation thing I got a couple of weeks ago. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So your dark mask, like it's like the light mask is there, but your dark mask wants to come out. And the temptation is to do it in the unintegrated way. However, your guides know that you can do it in an integrated way. So it's like follow the path and ask your guides, how can I become more dark, masculine, integrated? And they'll give you the answers.
Okay.
And trust yourself as well, because you've got it in there.
Yeah, I know. I always get told trust myself. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
So that's just a little bit of the temptation part.
Yeah, we'll talk off air because there's a couple of things that I'm going to mention about. Yeah, there's a couple of things there that I'm not going to say live that I'll tell you about
Yeah.
off air to do with that card that I'm like, fuck, I know where this is going. Yeah,
Perfect. Cool. Next card's fertility, love.
that's a good card, eh?
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful card. It's like she's nursing a.
And her heart
Yeah,
chakra is really activated.
yeah, that's a good
So it's
card.
not a baby. You're not having a baby yet.
Good. Yeah, good. Not yet, anyway.
So the fertility is in business.
Yeah, okay.
And I
Ooh.
feel like there's something that you've been wanting to create, aka birth, that's been sitting in your heart space for a while. And you've thought about it for a while. Like it actually feels like you've thought about this idea for maybe 6 months. It's really
Yep.
just sitting in your heart space and in your like in your womb space, but it's not your womb space, but in your stomach. Because it's like that birthing for you. And it's like it feels like there's been this talk about like an outside voice of the opinion of not doing it or something like conflict. However, you know in your heart it's the right thing to do. So it feels like there's an idea for business that's waiting to be birthed, and the time is now.
Yeah, I know what
Like
you're talking about.
I feel like you're gonna, whatever it is, bring it out on Jan 3rd.
Jan 3rd. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah. Yeah, write things down because when I'm channeling, it's like, and I may forget. I choose not to forget sometimes.
I got a fair idea what you're talking about here too. I'm not going to
Great.
share that either live on air, but yeah, I know exactly where this is going.
Yeah. So that's ready. Like it feels like you might have thought that it's not ready or it's not time and whatever has popped up for you. Know that it's like created there and it's sitting in your heart space for a reason. And it's like Jan 3rd, announce.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And there'll be a lot of like prosperity and abundance come from that. The heart space is a very like potent space for you to create and initiate from.
Yeah,
Very clear
100%.
channel. Yeah.
You're good. Very good.
Thank you, thank you,
Anyone
thank
out
you.
there listening and watching, hit up Temika and get a session in. All the
Get some
details will be below in the show notes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're getting great cards. So
Look
next
at that
one's
one.
movement, choices, and decisions.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I reckon we're going back to that dating thing again.
So there's two things that are coming through for that.
Here we go.
You're going to move.
I knew this. I knew that. I told you about that before, remember?
I know.
And there's been three friends of mine that have told me the exact same thing the last month.
Yeah, so the decisions are where you're going to move. You're going to have to make a hard choice, and your spirit guides are going to tell you where you're going. So it's like you're going to feel a little bit of conflict about it. Like you're going to feel like, oh, is it really like, and they're going to be like, yep. So, and when you move, there's going to be a massive like identity/ego death.
Another one. I've had a few of those.
So but the decision in it is really potent. However, what's coming through is really like sit with it and know that it's 100% and you'll feel it. Like it'll feel right. Your mind is going to go, your heart will go, yeah. So whatever you feel, like really important, the feeling part is the correct thing. Your mind might try and argue with you about it.
Yeah,
so
okay.
It's conflict. However, you'll go to the place, going to where you're called to first, feeling it will really help you make the decision. So experience the place and you'll go, oh, yeah, this is it. It'll just be like that.
Wonder if it's where I'm going this weekend.
Maybe.
Down your way.
Maybe. No.
Hey?
You'll just know. Like you'll have this.
I know. Interesting.
What else is coming through for that? Is there 3 people right now in your awareness that are in this scene that you're in?
Yeah, there's 2. Is there one more coming, is there? Oh, jeepers, creepers. Hey, I'll just give you a bit of context around that. So when I started the journey, I asked a kinesiologist so much more than a kinesiologist about this dating space thing. And I wasn't ready to obviously just throw myself into that space without doing any work. But she always told me that there was going to be 3. And now you're getting that as well. I feel like since that was nearly 3 years ago, that session, I feel like I've met 2 or I'm about to meet the 3rd. I feel like that moment is coming.
Yeah,
so
there's going to be 3.
It's going to be 3.
So I shouldn't laugh. It's actually cruel. There's going to be a 3rd and you're going to have to make a decision. Again, you'll go back to the heart, like feel.
Yeah.
Remove the outside noise and feel with your heart, but there is going to be 3. Sorry.
I knew there was always going to be 3 anyway.
Lucky 3. Okay.
Yeah.
Start. Cool. Oh.
Balance.
How cool is that card?
It looks like me. I have angel wings like that.
Vibes, same.
That looks like me.
Maybe it is you.
Could very well be me. Yeah.
What's he got? He's got 2 swords, a star, and a cup.
That's cool. So anyone watching on YouTube, that's a really cool card. You might have to show the deck at the end just so because people are interested in card decks, eh?
I will show them.
Yeah, they're cool.
Ooh,
Balance. Here we go.
that is a really cool card.
That is a cool card.
And it's 11 too. The number on it's 11.
Of course.
So spirit wants you to create more balance in life. It feels so I'm picturing what do they call it? The scales.
Yeah.
So it feels like work and business, like the scales are very beautifully balanced and heavy and prosperity. And it feels like, when was the last time you had fun?
Well, I did that video last week on the banana phone. That was fun. I had fun. Yeah, okay. Last time I had fun was last week. Like
And
proper childhood like fun. Yeah.
yeah, and before that, a
No, I
while.
was a fair while before that. 'Cause
Yeah, okay, cool.
I need to have more
So
fun. I know that.
yeah, more fun. So the
Yeah.
balance, like work and business, beautiful. Like it's like kind of just sitting there, like picturing the scales, guys, the ones that go like this.
Yeah.
The scales are going this way. How can spirit wants you to bring more balance into yourself? Like, and when I say yourself, it's fun, like inner child play,
Oh, yeah.
because it'll really expand you. I can feel your wings are going to grow. So how can you have more fun, especially when you're going through initiations and it might feel dense sometimes? How can you bring light into that and like bring the joy into that and initiate more fun? And like I'm seeing like playful inner child energy, like playing, like actually playing like a little boy.
Yeah, yeah, because yeah, when I ride my bike, I have fun doing it, and I had a bit
Yeah,
of fun with that yesterday, and
yeah,
yeah, and it's yeah, I've got to tell you some stuff off air to do with some stuff about all this. It's probably not ready to be shared publicly.
yeah.
That will give you a bit more context as to what you're getting, because what you're getting is fucking bang on.
Yeah. So bring more balance into like into self.
Yep.
It's like the balance of your work and your inner work is really great and your actual work. So work and work in self, great. It's like that personal, like fun little boy side that may have not had like feels like your little boy may not had that much fun when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you start to bring your little boy into now and have fun like he would have liked to have fun?
Mm, I got some ideas.
You'll do that. Your wings are about to grow, though. You're about to expand. You're about to go through an expansion.
Yeah, I am.
If you can feel your like back into here in this area here, can you feel the stretch?
Yeah, I was at gym this morning and I did a couple of workouts that stretch that out, and I'm like, oh, I need to drop the weight back a bit because it was,
Yeah.
yeah, because I've been going to the gym for 2 years now, and I really like when I'm going through initiation, expansion, all these things. I know when I'm going through because I have the OBE first, and then I get the physical like the like not pain but like a
It's almost like when not when your bones grow, but when you feel like you need a stretch.
pretty
Like
much like that.
you need to like pull yourself back and like feel your muscles
And for
stretch.
anyone that's out there that's in this space and that can know what we're talking about, a really good stretch that I like to do is up against the wall and just pushing. Like that really helps just pull the shoulders back, but also just allow that to
Or
expand.
like getting your arm and like holding it in the doorway, like having that like leaning on the doorway and like like pushing so then it
Yeah,
stretches through.
I
Yeah,
do that as
that's really
well. Yeah,
yeah.
I've been told I was told to do that stretch like 3 years ago, but I do it every night now, and I know why. Yeah,
Yeah. All right, they're the cards.
they're cool. Thank you.
Let's see if there's anything that gets me channeled through.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. This will be interesting.
Oh, you're gonna go on like a holiday/work trip,
Oh, I've been told this a couple of times now.
like May or June.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, are you planning like 6 weeks or
Like a retreat
it feels like you're gonna go away for 6 weeks
in May or June.
in May or June?
Hmm.
Different places though.
Yep.
So maybe it's some like maybe Europe or
Overseas.
Southeast Asia.
Oh, this is interesting. I was telling someone the other day. I love to go do an Asian adventure because I've done the Europe thing, but there's a couple of countries I want to see in Europe. Oh wow, I got goosebumps.
So I think Southeast Asia is very activated. So when we spoke about Southeast Asia, like my solar plexus went whoop.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're going to go over there. I feel like you're going to go on a little spiritual like journey from their culture. So you're going to get just led somewhere, and then your trip is going to. I feel like you're going to go and you'll book for 2 weeks. However, it's going to extend. Like you're just going to be like, oh, I'm going to stay a little bit longer, and then these little like synchronicities and like seeing like little pathways are just going to open up, and you're just going to go, and you'll spend 6 weeks traveling over there.
Hmm. I don't really attach to the timeline thing, but yeah, I've been feeling a trip towards middle of next year
There you go.
because this is interesting for people too that are out there. It might be a good little story to tell them that, for me when I first started this journey and I was getting told stuff was going to happen in a timeline, I'd attach that timeline. They're not actually do anything to activate that timeline. So a good piece of advice for people out there is when people like Tamika or myself come to you come give you a reading, it's always good to do some work on yourself or whatever to bring that timeline forward or to allow that thing into your life. Because,
100%.
Tamika, we'll talk about it in the podcast, but a lot of mediums and psychics that get a bad rep because they give out a timeline and nothing happens. Well, the onus is on the person that you're reading for to do work to allow that to happen.
We basically plant the seed.
Yeah, you've planted a bloody awesome seed there.
Yeah, so we give you the seed, and how also know that like your belief and how you receive the reading is completely up to you. Like
Yep.
it's a choice. Like you don't have to take everything on, and you get to take everything on depending on where you're at and what you want. Just know that we're planting a seed and we're just giving you beautiful channels. And yeah, like you said, it's you get to take the action also.
Yeah, like
Right.
I'm feeling. I've been called. I know I'm going to do some sort of a retreat in Southeast Asia for a bit as well. I've had a few other seeds around that trip that I
Yeah.
know I'm doing. Yeah,
Yeah. I feel like it won't be a planned thing. I feel like when you go there, you'll just like you'll meet someone and it will just drop in and you'll end up there. Like I don't think you're going to plan it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Allow that.
I feel like you'll get led because I'm feeling like the lead of it. Like you'll go there knowing that you'll potentially do it. However, you'll meet someone. And I feel like there might be local that like then creates there'll be like a community or something that's there.
Interesting.
What else? I feel like there's something else for your business.
Yeah.
What is it? Do you want to do? I'm being mindful of saying things in case I release. Do you want to do events and stuff, like in-person stuff?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I've been not wrestling with it, but like trying to work out how it's going to work for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Do that.
I'll do that. Hang on. Events. Yeah. I knew. But also, yeah, there's something I'll tell you about off air to do with that. It's not just events either. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on the
I feel
money
like
here.
there's something else, like a men's.
Fuck.
Like,
Yeah. Nah, you are men's circle. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, is it what capacity could I explain and tell things in case I'm exposing secrets?
No,
So
you're not exposed to any secrets. No. Yeah.
yeah.
There's some stuff around that I'll tell you off air that will be like, whoa, yeah.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. The masculine grandparent is still laughing, by the way. Like
Oh, of course he is.
he's having a field day. He's really
Yeah.
cheeky.
Yeah,
Like
I know.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
like I'm getting he's like being like, ha. Like he hasn't got anything to say, which is super interesting. He's just sitting here, like
Okay.
observing and having a little bit of like a little bit of a laugh. Like he's just super cheeky. I'm like, can you? What is there anything you want to say? He's like, no, I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah.
He's
Interesting.
like, I just know, like I can feel his hand chilling. He's like, I speak to him all the time. I'm just kind of here. I'm like, okay, sure. This one is very like just kind of observing. They
That's
both
cool.
love you though.
I know that.
They love you lots. This one sends you very obvious signs, like super obvious. Sometimes like you tend to ignore them, he's saying.
Yeah, I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
This one sends you more subtle signs. White dove has come through. White birds.
Ooh.
Do you see white birds a lot?
Yep.
This one
Interesting.
sends,
I'll tell you a story about white birds.
yeah.
I used to play cricket a bit. So a few years ago, I had my last season of cricket and I got hit in the chest real bad. And I was like down for the count. And I saw these white birds fly over, like a flock of them just fly over and just screech and scream. And I ended up staying in the innings and making making a whole heap of runs. But and then in my life, I've looked back and gone, well, when I'm at a place that's low, I see those white birds, and it's like this sign that it's going to be okay.
It's coming from this grandparent.
Yeah, I know which one it's coming from too. Yeah.
He sends them to you all the time.
Because
Very nurturing.
just randomly white birds will just fly across the window here, and I'll
Yeah,
hear them, or magpies will come and sit on my balcony. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. So he's very like his energy is very nurturing, and yeah, he sends you white birds a lot. This
That's
this
cool.
one sends you just very obvious signs. It's almost like it's fucking with you a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, I know they fuck with me. Don't worry about that. Yeah.
Like he fucks with you a lot. Like his energy is very like childish in
Because
a
I
respect.
think I need that in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's very like I'm literally getting like childish energy, like very cheeky, naughty little boy kind of energy that's playing up. It's really funny. Like he's great. And this
Yeah.
one's like, I love you and support you. Here's nurturing.
Yeah. That's cool.
They're great. Their energy is very like duality in it. It's good.
Hmm.
But they're both around all the fucking time.
Oh, I know. Don't worry. I know. Yeah, that's cool.
Hmm.
The energy in is wild.
I know. I feel like you're actually, to be honest, complete. That was like a very like just dropped
Thank
in.
you. That
Do you
was
have
a
any?
there'll be some off air that I'll ask, but I really do appreciate you doing that on live on air for people too. So then people get to understand how this all works, because I don't think a lot of psychics do this online much live. So that's why I've sort of, when I get them on, just use me as your test, and we'll, just see what, because people out there want to know what it's like. They don't want to just go and do it. So
Yeah.
this will
There's a
resonate
lot
with a lot
like
of people.
can be a little bit skeptical, and I love when people come to me and they're skeptical, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll show you what skeptical is, and I'll prove you that it's all beautiful.
Yeah. No, I'll
Yeah.
ask you some questions off there. There's a couple of things yeah. Let's get on
Oh,
with the chat. So, Tamika,
sure.
thank you so much for that live on air reading. If
You're
anyone wants to
welcome.
book a session with Tamika, her stuff will be in the bottom at the end of this show. She'll tell you where you can find her. Tamika, your story really intrigued me when I looked at your Instagram last week. So, let's start with your story and how you got into this space and how you got to where you are now.
Okay. So it probably started like when I was saying to you off air as well as like I know now I got initiated when dad passed when I was 9. So dad actually committed suicide when I was 9 years old. And so like being a 9 year old, you receive like I was able to make sense of that. It wasn't like I was younger and didn't really understand it, so to say. And that really initiated me probably into grief and support at quite young. So when dad had passed, instantly my little girl was like, how can I help everyone around me and support those around me? So that was like my initial drop in, and it was just a natural thing. Over time, that probably didn't serve me as I grew up, because it kind of brought on that people pleaser role and putting everyone else before me, and I wasn't taking care of myself. And so now it's really beautiful when I reflect on that. However, that kind of initiated me into getting support when I was going through the spiritual awakening, as we were speaking about. So we were chatting about COVID time for us, and that it was really that initiation into spirituality and personal development for me. And I remember being in the midst of COVID, and I was like, I feel very empty and almost like a shell. Like I felt numb to the point of like, I don't get what's happening. How can I change this? And I had my first ever mentor kept popping up on my Instagram. So, like you were saying about me popping up on yours, she kept popping up, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why does this keep happening? Right. And I was like, she's spiritual, and she was doing like psychic readings. And I was like, I like her. And so I hired her as a coach, and we worked through like the limiting beliefs and really cleared up all those things that were sitting. So, like the grief that was sitting in my heart from people passing. So, dad, a little backstory, dad passed when I was 9, and then I lost about 10 people after that. So,
Yeah.
from a very young age. So, when I got more so into high school, lost a lot of people to suicide and other deaths as well. So, there's been a lot of death in life. I'm only just about to turn 30, and I think there's 12, 13 people that have passed away in life. And so it's been a very prominent subject. And each kind of funeral I've gone to, I've helped someone because I'm like, oh, I've been there. I know how it feels. How can I support you? As soon as someone died, like, because it would be a community thing, like being in a smaller community, it would impact like a fair amount of people that I knew. I'd go and message every single person that would post something and be like, how can I help you? How can I support you? I've been there. Like, here's some tools and resources. That's just kind of dropped in that now I do that as a job and a beautiful like mission. That was kind of like the initiation. Interesting. Anyway, tangent. And so, yeah, so grief has been like very prominent for me for a long time. And though it was sitting in my body and I hadn't dealt with it properly, like it was kind of, it was like, oh yeah, I've grieved, but I hadn't actually properly done it. And so I did some work with my coach, and then I did NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, which is the mind, body, and spirit, and did a lot of releasing of old emotions that were stored through that. So that was, when did I do NLP? That was a year and a half ago. And that's when I then started my business and started to coach other people through trauma and limiting beliefs and all of those things at the start. So it was more mind work and doing all of that. And then as I progressed and got to where I am now, which is grief and psychic and medium and spirituality, that has really been my mission this whole time. It was just kind of the pieces of the puzzle that led me to that. And grief is fully my mission here, and psychic medium, because they actually go on together. And there's been so many different parts of my story. However, the big part is definitely like losing dad, and that the grief that's come through all of that and helping others to then recognize that there's actually not much support out there to help people through grief. And we were chatting about this as well offline. It's like, who do people go to when they've lost someone? Like, there is such a small niche. Like, yeah, there is psychologists. However, there is support before that. Like, you can go to, like, you want someone to be there for you in the moment. I think that's where I saw the lack of support. It's like there's nothing for people in that actual moment, or there's lack of education or lack of tools and resources for people. I say this a lot, like grief in Australia is very taboo. Like, there's no like culture or ritual to do when someone passes away. Like, if we look at other cultures, they have beautiful rituals. They might have a ceremony, or like for Marys, they actually go and bury it and sleep next to the person that's passed. Like, everybody has kind of something that they do which enables them to feel the grief and be present with it, rather than feel like some of us go, oh fuck, someone's died, what do we do? Yeah. It's like that scarcity kind of comes up. So a big part of my mission is to educate people that, like, how to get through grief and how to come to the tools and resources when it comes up, because it's inevitable. Like, we're all going to pass. We're going to have people that pass. I feel like a bit of a stamina that there's this, it's not going to happen thing. Like, it's not going to happen. We're not going to die, or someone that we love is not going to die. Like, we kind of have this fear of it rather than looking at it as love. And grief is just love.
Correct.
It's just love every time. Like, if there's no love, there's no grief, right? They're just the same thing. There's just like, so the big mission for me is coming back and showing people that it's just love. Like, come back to love, come back to that.
That's
it's a
cool.
very powerful thing. And it's like, I just want people to have support in it, because I know that when I was a child, I felt like I had no tools and resources. And I just created them, and I created them for other people. And it's like, how can I give and create that for someone else that is experiencing it now?
There's a lot of people experiencing it right now, given what's gone on in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, yeah, like huge.
That's a big one too. And also, it's not just the grief, it's the fear of death thing too. There's that as well. Like,
yeah,
once you remember who you are and you're a soul having a human experience and your soul's eternal,
Yeah.
you're just inhibiting the meat suit for an experience. That gives you that deeper level of understanding of there's really nothing to be afraid of when the lights go out because the lights aren't going out. You're just going somewhere else.
Oh, yeah. Oh, like you just, this is a thing that again, like I love to teach. It's like, and I think being a medium to be able to channel
Yeah.
people that are past, it's like sometimes that shows that person that may be grieving that there is another side,
Yeah.
which can then help with the grief. It's like, yeah, they're not here in the physical form. However, they're still here. Their energy and their spiritual side of them is still here and it's still present with you. And I can channel that and show you. Like, I
Hmm.
think that's a huge part to play for people that I think are experiencing the grief. That's why they go so well together. It's like a ding ding, hello.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, once you start doing that work on yourself, I talk a lot about the body doing some cool shit, Tamika. That cool shit is you can see that energy and you can see that person.
Yeah. Or you can feel it.
Feel it, see
Everyone
it,
might be
hear it,
different. Feel it, hear it. Yeah.
smell it. You can get a scent of their smell.
Yeah.
They're always with you and they're always around you. For anyone out there listening and watching.
Yeah. And some beautiful advice I always share is like speak to them. Speak to them like they're here, like going on a walk and just like having a conversation, and you'll hear little things, or you might
Hmm.
smell, or you might feel they want you to communicate. Like this
Yes.
helped me with my journey because I knew like when dad passed, this is I think what brought the mediumship on for me is like took me a long time to realize this. I would always speak to dad and I was like, oh, I can speak to him. He's passed. And I always just thought it was bloodline. Oh, I can just talk to him because he is my dad. For
Yeah.
so long, I told myself this story and I was like, I can just channel him because he's my dad. And then, like 2 years ago, like I was like, oh, I'm actually a medium. Like people are dropping in. I can actually speak to people that have passed. And then I was like, okay, spirit, like this is what I'm here to do. Because my belief is everyone's psychic, whether you think you are or whether you think you're
Oh,
not.
I agree with that.
And I feel like mediumship is a bit different. I feel like mediumship isn't exposed to everybody. However, it could be, and you might not choose to explore it, and you might get exposed to it and you choose to explore it. And so, yeah, I was like, oh, I've always been a medium.
Hmm.
I help people pass over. Like it's very deep in my mission. And I remember thinking, I had a moment, someone came to me that had passed that I knew, and they were struggling to pass to the other side. Like they were just kind of stuck in the vortex, and they were like, Tamika, I need your help. And I was like, is this fucking happening? Like, am I actually doing this? And I remember guiding them through it. And then that was the moment it clicked for me that I was a medium and I was here to do the things I was here to do. I was like, oh, and now I get to channel beautiful people that have passed and pass that on to help people with their closure, or like absolutely just receiving their love as well. It's a very like hand in hand combination, which I love. Like, thank you, universe, for the beautiful mission that goes so beautifully intertwined.
I'm gonna
And
ask,
yeah,
I'm gonna ask you a question. How did that little girl go that saw and heard all this stuff out there in society? This stuff does get shunted quite a lot. How did you go through that process of this is all in your head, this is imaginary? You might have been telling yourself that. How did that process go? Did you have friends? Did you lose friends? Did you lose family that didn't believe what you believe?
yeah,
Can't see the veil. How did that process go for you on a deep level? Because that's a big one for a lot of people that are in this space is that Tom, Dick, and Harry down the road have absolutely no idea and don't believe a single thing that you're doing.
yeah. So my mum's quite spiritual, so she was pretty supportive through it. She was like, "Yeah,
Yep.
no shit, you can do that, Tamika." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh." Like she's pretty spiritual, so she was like, "Yeah, like that makes sense." And so she was very supportive. As I got older though, like I feel like when I got into high school and stuff, I shut it down. All of
Yeah.
the spirituality
Yeah.
was, yeah, suppressed. Like it didn't come back until COVID, and I started getting all the signs, like feathers were falling everywhere, and like dad was very prominent in COVID, and it was like the spirituality just really activated then. And I was like, oh, white feathers, me Googling, what's this mean? Like I have four
Yeah. I
feathers
did all
on
that.
my necklace, so angel numbers everywhere, like all the little small signs at the start. That's when it started to come back, and I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it. However, yeah, in like high school, it was very suppressed. Like I didn't speak about it. I think to be honest, I completely shut it down. It was almost
Mm.
non-existent. Like there was little bits and bobs. Like I had my crystals and there was these things. However, I was like, and it just kind of got suppressed along with, and then I realized like it suppressed me as well, like my true authentic self. And I numbed it out with partying and all
Yeah.
those things, like drugs, alcohol, avoiding everything. And yeah, very like suppressed. And then it came back on. And now it's like, that's all I know. It's not all I know. However, it's like my authentic version of me. It's like, yeah, I'm fucking spiritual. Cool.
Mm. Was there a moment for you where the signs? I often talk about stones, rocks, and bricks. The universe will give you stones, will give you rocks, will give you bricks.
Yeah.
Where on the scale did you get in terms of, well, I need to do this now? Like, did you have a moment where you might have hit rock bottom? For me, I fell through a table. With my listeners and viewers know that story. Was there a moment for you where it got to a point where I have to fucking do it, otherwise I'm gonna get more bricks?
Yeah. So I actually had a very interesting break. So in COVID, it was actually when we were coming out of COVID. So the start of COVID was probably the little nudge. And then when we started to come out 2021, I all of a sudden broke out with this really bad, like cystic acne. Like my
Oh,
face was really bad. Like it was covered. So everything was covered and it came out of nowhere. And it was like, it was the most, I was so depressed. Like I didn't want to be on earth, basically. I isolated myself. It was when we were still kind of in COVID a little bit. I isolated myself for probably 3, 4 months. Like I didn't leave my house. I lived alone. My mum would see me. That was really it. Even then, I had a lot of shame and like guilt around my how my face looked. And I tried all these different modalities and resources, and like I did naturopath. I changed my diet. I did all these things, and it didn't get any better. And
interesting.
my face, if like my face is everyone can see it, right? I know the quantum meaning of it now.
Mm,
And it was like this, I had so much shame and guilt and like sadness and it was the most depressing time of my life. And it sounds so vague, however, it was bad. Like to the point where I actually went on Roaccutane, which is a really strong medicine, because I was like, if this doesn't fix it, like I don't want to be here. Like it was to that extreme. Like it was that much pain. That was the moment.
mm,
That was the moment, and that's when spirit really started to talk to me because I was very isolated. So I started to go and speak to like spirit more because that's all I had. Because I didn't
mm.
see any humans because of the shame and the guilt that was like had in my face. And so that was the moment for me. And I forget about it all the time. And it's like, fuck, that was actually the thing. Like the face, the acne was the thing for me.
What
Yeah.
was the quantum meaning behind it? It was probably to embrace your true self.
Embrace my true self. And I had a lot of like anger. So
Yeah, okay.
inflammation and anger. So
Yep.
that it was very cystic. So it was very inflamed, very red. So it was like not the true expression of who I am, and a lot of built up resentment and anger that was sitting in my body. So then it guess where it comes out your face. So
Mm. Where was the anger directed towards though?
it was directed towards mum and dad passing. So it took me a while to go to dad. Like mum was very obvious for me. Mum, I love you if you ever watch this. Um, and so mum was a very obvious one for me. I was like, yep, no shit. We've established that.
Mm.
There was a lot of, I guess, shame in feeling angry at dad for taking his life.
Yeah.
And though it was very like it's okay to feel angry for someone passing. Like know that that's really actually okay. Like being angry is okay. It's part of your journey. However, I had so much shame and anger towards that it then built up. And that was probably the bigger piece than the mum because mum was very obvious. And I actually expressed the anger probably more so for her. I was like, yeah, I know I'm fucking angry. With him, I was like, oh, this feels very uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
they were the two avenues, and also like anger and self for not being who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you process? Because a lot of people don't tend to want to feel that anger. How were you able to process, deal with it, and then like let go of that anger? Was there anything that you did like breath work or a bit of boxing
So
or maybe even writing letters? I know for me that one works for me.
yeah,
What did you do?
I had a coach at the time who took me through emotional change technique, which is a technique we do in NLP. So it's a like mind, body, and spirit technique, which helps you integrate the anger and like fully like you feel it and then you shift it and you remove it from your timeline, basically. Doesn't mean you don't still feel anger. Like it's just more so the built up, pent up anger that's there. So that really helped. Breath work has definitely helped with grief and anger that's sat in my body. Writing letters, like you said, absolutely. And just like screaming in the car,
Yeah, screaming. Yeah.
like screaming in the car and like having the music loud, expressing it how I feel safe for you as well. Like I think that's really important, knowing that you're safe to express it. And anger is okay. Like it's okay to be angry. We have a society thing that anger is bad, and it's actually important for you to feel it. And on a
I agree.
vibrational scale, anger is actually quite high compared to guilt and shame and all the other
Hmm.
emotions. You look at the vibrational scale, it's actually up quite high.
Mm.
Like it's passion in some sense.
Yeah. So how can one fuel that anger into passion?
Yeah. Feel like again, like say dad passing was really hard on me, and I fueled that anger also into my passion. Because it's like, how can I help people, A, that may want to feel like they want to take their lives and help them from not doing that, and B, helping people that are grieving and might be angry, how can I help them through that too?
Mm.
So it's like use your anger into fuel into the passion, like transmute it and just like feeling it. Know that when you feel an emotion, it's probably only going to be for a little bit and then it will go away rather than you feeling it and pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down. It's going to come back up
Yep.
tenfold. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a
Like,
lot of people in society too. A lot of that anger gets built up over time and then they explode and then it just this
yeah,
cycle, right? Yeah. It's
yeah.
interesting.
Just feel it in the moment. Like if it's there, just express it, feel it, and you'll feel it move in such a beautiful and faster manner in a sense.
Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Tamika, if there was someone watching this that has lost someone or is going through that process now, or is a actually, it's probably two-parted questions. The first part is, yeah, if there's someone out there right now that's going through a grief and they've lost someone, and yeah, what would be your advice to that person to start to sort of process what's going on, and what are some action steps that they could probably take?
The first thing I want to probably say is know that everybody grieves differently. It's really important. Like your version of grief and someone else's version of grief may be completely different. So honor how you're feeling in your grief and know that there's no wrong or right way. That's probably so important because I feel like there can be this perception that it has to be sadness or it has to be hurt. You might feel joy first. Like there's 7 stages of grief. So there's all these different stages. I want you just to recognize how you feel in that moment is perfect for you. So feeling the emotion that comes up, let it come up. That's really important. So if you're feeling sadness, honor that and acknowledge, I feel sad today that I'm grieving XYZ. Allow yourself to feel that emotion. And again, it might be anger, it might be like it gets to be any emotion that's coming up. However, recognizing it, feeling it is key, 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 key. And ask for support as well. Like reach out for support because people want to support you in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second
That
part of the question
second
is,
part,
what if
yeah.
someone's watching this right now? They can see and feel and hear and they're having these experiences that are quite, woo woo and,
Mm-hmm.
not normal. I don't even know what normal is now after this journey.
Yeah.
What would be your advice to that person that, and even might even have, by being an open channel and don't even know it, that there's this other side here that's coming through?
Yeah.
What would be your advice to that person to navigate all of that as well?
So whatever's coming through for you, take it step by step. So know that like if you're feeling something, just honor that and take baby steps in it. If it feels overwhelming at that moment, just take baby steps. If it feels great, lean into it more. However, know that it's there for a purpose. So look at it from the lens of love and ask yourself, what is this teaching me? What am I meant to receive right now? And it's likely that the person that's passed just wants to be with you because that's what they want. They are around all the time. Like my dad is around all the time. He's either in energy or he's an eagle. They're the
Oh,
two.
that's cool.
Yeah. So I see eagles. Eagle. What eagle?
Yeah.
I see eagles all the time. So they
Protection.
will, yeah, they will transmute. And dad and I were actually equals together in a past life. Wild.
Uh,
And so they'll send you different things. So if you see something, so for me, like I said, I see eagles regularly, like so often, and then I feel dad's energy. So they might speak to you through like signs, or they might speak to you through themselves. Trust your feelings and trust your intuition and be like, yes, that's them. Because it is.
hmm. And that could be anything for like they might have loved something while they were here. So it could be
Yeah.
something so simple that you'll see all the time that you're now conscious aware of. I know for me, magpies is the thing I see a lot because I have some family in spirit that love magpies. So I see them a lot and I'm like, yeah, that's just them, you know.
Yeah.
And
They,
often for me, when I see a magpie, Tamika, I'll feel that sadness or I'll feel whatever that is and I'll just let it out. And yeah, whenever I see magpies, I just have this need or this sadness that's there. And I just sit down and go, right, it's like I'm looking at the magpie, but I know who I'm really looking at. And I just, yeah, surrender to
yeah.
the moment, you could say, and just let that have some real big tears just staring at magpies.
Yeah, I get the same with eagles. It's so interesting. Like sometimes the experiences are so different. Even yesterday, I was laying on the beach and this beautiful eagle kept like this beach is huge, right? And this eagle just keeps circling around my head, and I'm like, "Hi, Dad!" Like, just it keeps coming back and forth over my head, like so low, and I'm like,
Yeah,
so just know that if you think it's them, it's
it's
them.
them. Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tamika, is there anything else you'd like to share before we wrap things up from today's everything to do with today?
Ooh. If you're grieving, like definitely just like I said, reach out for support. If you're wanting connection, speak to them. Like know that they'll speak to you. If you're wanting someone to bridge the gap of the connection, come see a medium.
Yeah.
Um, and just really honor yourself and your feelings. It's really important. And know that there's going to be ups. Like grief is an ever flowing ebb and flow. Like some days you'll feel great, and other days you'll feel not so great. Like for me, dad's been away for 21 years. It's a very long time. Some days I am fine. Other days I will just look at something and I'll just start bawling my eyes out. And it's been 20
Yeah.
years. Like it's an ever flowing journey. And you just learn the tools and resources to move through it at a different level, if that makes sense. So for me, I've learned the tools and resources. So when I feel it come up, I'm like, okay, I just get to feel and love myself in this moment. And it gets to kind of ease in a faster pace. So know that it's a forever journey and that you'll always have support. They'll always be around. And to reach out for help, like know that you're not alone is probably like a really important piece of a message I want to say is know that you're not alone because it can sometimes feel like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a really awesome piece of advice. Tamika, if people out there that are listening that are viewers of mine and listeners of mine, where can people find you to begin their journey with you?
Ooh. So
Mm.
mainly on Instagram. So it's my name, so Temika.Hill, and it's got an extra L on the end.
Yep.
So that is my Instagram. And then if you want Facebook, if you're a little Facebook person, it's just my name, so Temika Hill, and they're
Yeah.
my two little links. If there's any questions or any messages you want, or like if there's anything you just even want to speak about, I always have my beautiful doors open and
Oh,
know that you're welcome.
awesome.
Please know that you're safe to reach out as well. Sometimes it can feel a little bit scary. Know that you're safe and it's a safe space. So
I
just
think
want to,
I think if people have watched and listened to this, you're able to create that safe space with me through the reading and what you've said today. So I don't think the safe things will concern you too much, Tamika. I don't
thank you.
think. Thank you
Yeah.
for jumping on and giving your time to my podcast and my audience today. A lot of young people listen to this, so that's why I thought I'd get you on because you're doing awesome things, and a lot of our younger generation need this stuff too. So not just younger generation, older people listen too, and you guys, we don't forget you either. But Tamika,
Yeah.
thank you very much for jumping on today. This has been the Breaking Free podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Francis. I'm going to get Temika back on. There's going to be part 2 for this. I think this could be a 10, 12 part thing for the next
So,
few.
love that.
I think I've
Thank
met
you
you
for
for a
having me.
reason, Temika, so I'm looking forward to seeing what that is too. Temika and I are out. I'll see you guys later. Cheers.